Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's show. I'm Rick Russell alongside head coach Jonathan Caldwell. Tonight, we're going to talk about our upcoming game tomorrow evening against the 4-0 Barnesville Shamrocks. We're going to touch base on last week's loss to the Caldwell Redskins and also have a few Seminole football players on this evening. Coach, before we dive in too deep, the Barnesville game tomorrow night, another tough loss last week against Caldwell, a team that I thought, maybe we were comparable to and had a shot at winning. We just couldn't get much going offensively and, gave up some big plays defensively late in the game.
Yeah, I mean, and people are going to think I'm crazy, but I thought we played, especially in the first half, some pretty good defense, really. Had them in a lot of situations we could have got off the field, 4th and 8, 4th and 12. I think there was a 4th and 12 and they ran a fake punt up the middle on our first string defense. We didn't even put punt return in. But like you said, we couldn't get anything going offensively, and that's really what the game came down to. Playing some decent defense, but that has to be, that goes hand in hand with good offense. So it's week 4, shouldn't have any excuses, but we have had some linemen move around, things like that. But by now they should know what's going on. But it just seems like every run play, and even pass plays, there's just one little thing that, we don't block up right, don't do right, or we drop a pass, or, someone doesn't run the right route. So, and that goes back to, I'm not blaming kids or anything, it's coaching as well. It's this, we're in this together, we're a family, we're a team, but yeah, and I'm with you, I think we are comparable with Caldwell. We just have to honestly get this thing on the right track, and that's doing the little things right. I keep talking to the kids about it. Once you do those little things over and over and over, they'll stack up to the big things. So that's kind of been our mission and our goal this past week of practice. And we've always done that. Don't get me wrong, it's not like it's something new, but we've really focused in on getting our footwork right, getting to the right person, doing the right thing. So hopefully, going forward, those things will show and we'll start picking up steam in the second half of the season.
Yeah. And, a few things I noticed, and the number one thing, it's just like we're like an inch away at times, you know what I mean? A few of those passes, Corbin and Max were open there just slightly overthrown, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And the same thing with Ron, too. Like, you're not going to see it from the stand, but when you watch film, it's literally inches away from, if we just get this block just a little bit more, or, we don't trip on our pull, things like that. It's just little, and that football's a game of inches. They talk about it all the time. It truly is. But if you watch the film, it's just, you can see the gap, you can see the big hole, and it's just one little thing goes wrong. And people don't understand football is the most team sport there is. It takes all 11 people doing the right thing on a play to make it work. If one person messes up, and it's on both sides of the ball, it seems like the play finds that one person that didn't do something right, or maybe slipped, or maybe just gets beat. I mean, Caldwell had some 68, 64
big kids.
They fire off the ball, very aggressive kids. So they had some dudes with them. There's no doubt. But honestly, I think as the season progresses and we get better, Caldwell is definitely a team that I think we can and should be able to beat a team like that, honestly.
Yeah. Like I said, we're so close at times, and a lot of people don't see that watching the game.
Right.
And I do. I see it. But, unfortunately, tomorrow night against a very, very, very good Barnesville football team, we know what we're up against there. But we'll dive into that here in a little bit. Let's take a short break, Coach. We'll be back with our first guest of the evening, Parker Seifert. Welcome back to the show. We're here with our first guest of the evening, number 70, Parker Seifert. Parker, welcome to the show, man.
Good to be here.
Yeah, thanks for taking time out of your evening to spend with us. Talk a little bit about your high school career so far. You know, you've been kind of a mainstay on this offensive line for the last 4 years, particularly at center. And Coach, we don't usually have a chance to have centers on the show.
No. I thought he was on last year. He said this was his first time. So
there you go. Tell him some love here. So as far as the center, I know it's your job to direct the line and see defensive fronts and formations and kind of help the guards and tackles out. Explain to us what that job entails.
Well, it's when I get lined up there, I got to be the first one on the ball, so people can see my feet and get off of me, and then I have to be able to say I need to do the right or left call, and then just trying to point out backers that creep up here. There's a lot of talking on my end. I just have to be able to communicate with everyone and make sure everyone knows what they're doing. Like I'll tap my guard if he has to pull that play, especially if they have new guards. And if they have a question, they ask me, and then I confer with Baker. So just a lot of just communicating with each other here. I gotta lead the discussion in the huddles.
Yeah, that's a lot of the stuff, things like that people don't see from the stands. Right. It's not just his job to snap the ball every time. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's a lot of things.
He's right. There's a lot that goes on. He's done it long enough where he knows it.
Yes, and it takes someone with a high IQ to kind of put all that together and make it all work. Give everyone a little direction. So, like we said, you've been at that position around the line for the past 4 years, and I know we've talked a little bit to other players about some improvements that they've made, particularly just this year. Or what improvements they need to make moving forward. So, explain to us, kind of compare your freshman year to where you are now, what improvements you made, and how far you've come.
Well, I guess my main improvement so far is being more confident in myself here. Like my freshman, sophomore, and most of my junior year, I'd be so nervous before games I couldn't think straight, and it would make me not have good snaps here. Like that was the main issue I had last year, just getting my nerves calmed down, and then just getting more reps in my snap here. Like my freshman year, I had a lot of bad snaps. I had to think about it and think about everything. Now I can kind of it's just a muscle memory type of thing. I can get a good snap going.
Mm-hmm. You're kind of second nature now.
Yeah.
You've done it long enough.
Yeah.
Good deal. I know where we stand now. You guys aren't pleased with our record, but we don't want to throw any. I don't want to kind of walk away from the fact that we're 1-3, but we do have a lot of inexperienced players. We have some young players. We lost a ton of talent from last year's football team, a ton. And so did other schools in the Valley and the state. No excuses, but we're just not used to these outcomes, and I'm sure you guys feel it from one another in this locker room. I mean, as a senior and a leader of this football team, what do you say to your teammates?
I'd say it is difficult because we basically had to reinvent the line here for everyone that we've lost, and our schedule got way harder than last year, but we have to stick together. Like I have a lot to work on myself here. Like I got to be a lot faster. I got to step up a lot more than I did last year. Because last year I had experienced senior linemen that was helping me as a junior. So now I got to be an experienced senior lineman helping all of the people that they could have been their first game playing that position here. It's just kind of everything's everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have that this year. We have Braden Baker playing this.
Never played football before.
First snap of football. Move Stiver from the backfield to the line. So, and kudos to you, man, for your leadership out there and trying to give a little direction. Let's touch base just a bit more on the improvements that you've made. Explain to us, what that took. Was it just studying the playbook, technique, coaches?
For snapping, just reps. Just as many reps as your brain can take here. Just sit down every day, just take 50 snaps. Just get that in your head. Just keep doing reps. And learning my plays here is looking at my playbook and then just getting more experience with varsity versus junior team here. Because you can look at plays, but the situation's going to change here. There's going to be positions you haven't seen on paper. You have to have some real world experience to adapt and see what. You gotta know what's going on in the play to know where you should be going if the line is unconventional.
It's never black and white, is it?
No.
And like I said, that comes from a player with a high football IQ and a lot of experience. You know, you don't have both of those together very often.
Right.
While we got you here, let's give your dad some airtime. What do you think about that? Everybody knows Randall Seifert. Randall, listen.
I don't know if anyone knows.
But anyway, your dad, he was a hard-nosed football player, you know, back in the day. For sure, he loved to play the game and he loved to win, you know. And I'm sure throughout your high school career, well, you can back up even further, I'm sure, through Pee Wee football and what have you, junior high, and now through high school. I'm sure your dad's been a big influence to your performance. You touch base on that just a tiny bit?
Yeah, my dad, beginning of football that I've ever since I picked up a football and started playing football, he'll take me out back. He used to take me out back and we'd do our own drills after practice, and he would basically do the drills he grew up on here, and then he would try and talk to me about. It was a little bit different because I was playing center, and like he was more or less a defensive lineman, but the principles still apply. Like he talks to me after games about what I did wrong and everything, and also he talks to me about stories of what it was like with his friends in the locker room and the environment of football.
Yeah.
So I kind of bring that to the locker room here and get the guys excited to be here and practice, bring a little bit of fun to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was definitely it's changed somewhat. You know, there's the environment back in the 90s and early 2000s was pretty electric.
Yeah,
And
he definitely,
Sure.
he tries to bring that back, there's no doubt, he tries to do that. Yeah.
Well, good deal. Coach, you got anything to add on Parker?
Yeah, you know, he has been playing a ton of reps, and and one good thing is you can hear how he's an intelligent football player. You know, he might, just like anyone, might make some mistakes in there, here and there, but he pays attention, listens to the coaches, and he works on those little things. Does them the best of his ability the next play out, tries to fix those things. But the thing I love about Parker is he comes to work every day. I don't ever see him without a smile. I can't really think of too many times where he's not smiling down here even when it's 100 degrees. And, you know, he's still pushing himself, still smiling, still having a good time. His freshman, sophomore, he didn't talk too much, and it's funny, we talked about his dad a little bit there, but these last 2 years, even his laugh and things like that have reminded me so much of Seifert, and I love to see that because you need those locker room guys, you know, because this is a tedious, everyday practice.
It's a grind.
Yeah, it's a grind, so you need those guys to make it kind of refreshing and fun, and you know, just out of the blue yelling something or doing something good, just to break up the monotony of it. So, and that's definitely Parker. But also he's a good football player, so you know you get the combination of both things. But excited to hopefully we can, you know, it's a senior year. He's had some success the past few years here, so hopefully we can kickstart this season and get it headed in the right direction. And that's what we've been working on this past week, and just some little things, and like he talked about little technique things, certain things we've been trying to really hone in on. So hopefully we can jumpstart the season for these seniors and have some success at the end of the year.
Was your dad rough back in the day in the backyard trying to teach you football?
Could be, yeah.
I picture Randall being a little rough with you out there, toughen you up a little bit.
Yeah.
He wasn't always tough. Don't let him lie to you.
Well, I had to be tough. We were playing like 11 kids back in the day. You couldn't take any place off. If you got hurt, you were.
That's good.
Both sides of the ball, special teams, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, absolutely, no doubt.
Well, listen, Parker, thanks again for the time, man. This is probably a little easier than what you thought your first episode. Probably the times in the backyard a little rougher on you.
Yeah.
The old man. But I wish you nothing but the best, man. Good luck tomorrow night against the Shamrocks, okay? Thanks again.
Thank you.
We'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll be back with the second guest of the evening, Carter Fry. Welcome back to the show, everyone. We're here with our second guest of the evening, number 0, Carter Fry. I kind of Googled the history of this number 0 a little bit because I was kind of interested myself. So in 1973, the NFL said no more number 0s. They brought that back in 2023. So they quoted some of the guys that wear number 0 now in the NFL. And said, well, it's just cool. I wanted to wear it. You have to be number 0 before you're number 1, stuff like that. So now you wear the number 0 here at Monroe Central. Tell us the reason why.
Well, I didn't really have a number coming into the season. I was number 27 in 6th grade, and I was 34 in 7th and 8th grade. So I was looking for a number in the 20s, and then Coach Carr came out with the number 0, and he offered it up. I was extremely honored whenever he came out with it, but I was also a little bit nervous because it was the first one ever.
Yeah, first time ever.
Live up to that 0, that's what I told
Hey,
you.
do you honestly think if Coach Cross was here, we'd have number 0? I don't know.
I love it though.
How about the double 0? When are we going to bring that
I
out?
don't think you're allowed to double 0
Oh, really?
in football. I don't know. But I'll never know.
I'll have to Google that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Find out the answer. Listen, Carter, I've had a few opportunities to watch you play some JV ball, and that first series on defense, I thought this kid's going to have a pretty solid high school career. And Friday night, because of some missed opportunities and Owen's injury, and you got time to shine out there in a varsity football game, and man, you made the best of it. 4 tackles and busting through the line, and you're pretty impressive for a freshman. You can tell that you truly have a football IQ when you know where you're going back there. You're gonna have a great career, man. What'd you see? What was it like out there?
It felt pretty good. I was a little bit nervous getting out there, but I was excited to get some reps on varsity at linebacker because this is my first year playing linebacker. I played DN my 6th grade and 7th and 8th grade year. So I was just excited to get some experience out there at varsity.
Mm-hmm. So I'm sure, kind of being a freshman, the speed of this game, the size of these kids, all that's a little different to you, I'm sure, not what you were used to seeing in JV for certain. So how have you adapted to that? Because, you got some growing to do. You're not a very big kid right now, but, eventually you'll get there. How'd you adapt to the size and the speed of the game?
The kids are definitely a lot bigger, faster, and stronger. But I've been trying to work on my speed at home and lifting every year in the off season, every day, and it's definitely played a factor in my abilities.
Yeah, it'll go a long way, man. I don't know what else you do sports-wise, but if you have a break in between sports, this is a place to spend your time.
He does. He does,
Long snapper. I didn't really realize that. I mean, I did, but so you haven't. This isn't your first time snapping. I mean, I could tell that. You look like a senior out there snapping, honestly. Where'd it come from? Did you have a teacher or instructor, or you just thought, hey, I want to snap football?
Yeah, well, my mom or my dad and my pap were both long snappers, and so they kind of helped me with my technique to get it nice, and so I try to work on that. I try to do 20 snaps each day during the off season and during the season, so I don't have a bad one on Friday nights.
Yeah, we don't want any bad ones on Friday night. You haven't had one yet?
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive, man. Yeah, so where did they snap in like high school too, or?
My pap snapped at West Liberty.
Oh, really? Heck yeah.
That's good teachers to have.
Yeah.
So last year, I seen you on the sidelines every game as a manager, and you and Jed and Jace. So you have some familiarities with the program, how things work, and you knew some of the players coming in. So, what's your biggest takeaway thus far this season? Being a freshman on a high school football team.
Just the group of guys. We have a really good group of guys. The upperclassmen are really good to the underclassmen, and it's just a really good environment to be in.
Yeah, it's always been a close-knit family in this field house, and it's not like if everyone could do it, we need more lockers. It takes a special kid to put forth the effort to take his entire summer, 7-on-7s and scrimmages and 2-a-days and conditioning, and just not everyone's cut out for it. So yeah, this is a special group of kids in here, and it's always been a close-knit family. We always like to touch base on what kids want to improve on throughout the season as well. You know, we're going into week 5 tomorrow night against Barnesville, and I'm sure, you know, as a freshman, there's a ton of things you want to improve on. Can you touch on a few of those for us?
A few things I want to work on is definitely getting just faster, stronger, and bigger. But I want to work on the quickness of my reads at linebacker. I want to be able to burst to the line and get off blocks a lot quicker and make tackles.
Yeah. Pretty impressive, Coach. You got anything to add?
Very impressive kid, honestly. I couldn't remember if he started 7th grade or 6th grade year, but I remember the first year he started playing. Coach Stevens told me, you know, that he was a new kid coming on, and you could kind of tell right from the beginning he kind of just had a knack for football. Like he said, he played defensive end, played it very well for 3 years there. He could step right in right now and play defensive end easily in JV. But we kind of thought he had a linebacker mentality, kind of knack for getting the ball, and so far he's shown that in JV games as well. He had earlier in the week he had a pick 6 in the JV game, so really has just a knack for making plays, and that's what you want out of your linebacker. And one of the best things about him, he's going to put the work in. You know, he talks about taking 20 snaps. I didn't even know that. I heard he was a long snapper. Really, the minute I heard he was a long snapper, we didn't even rep anyone else because I knew that he would go home, he would do the things that needed to be done and put the work in. So, he, like you said, he looks like a guy that's been snapping for 4 years out there. I don't question it. I don't have any worries. You know, I shouldn't say that out loud, but you know, it's all good. And the thing is that's just because his dedication to the game. He just wants to be good, wants to be great. So whether it's long snapping, he's talking about making quicker reads, better reads. That's just the kind of kid he is, and he's only a freshman. You know what I mean? So look forward to really seeing him mature and grow into that role as linebacker, and hopefully he can become a great linebacker. And when I ordered that number 0, I didn't take it lightly, honestly, giving it to someone. I really wanted to give it to someone that football kind of meant a lot to. And he's the first one ever. So football definitely means a lot to this kid, and I can't wait to see what he can do.
You have that for 4 years, Carter.
Yeah.
He better live up to it, that's what I told him.
I'm assuming
He's going to live up to it.
he's involved a little bit with Ian and Phillips and the kickers somewhat.
Are you still coming once in a while to practice, kicking practice, or is that every Sunday or here and there? Okay. I knew you were, I thought you came to one.
I came to one.
Okay. See, and I know he would come to every one of them. He probably hasn't been. They were hit and miss there for a couple days for some.
Yeah, so Bill was there in the middle of the week.
Yeah, and then they had a kicking camp, so it's kind of been hit or miss. But he would do anything we asked of him, I know that. So just a great kid. Can't wait to see what he can do, man. Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I look forward to you, man, watching you play for the next 4 years. Continue that work.
I will.
Study the playbook, scouting reports, spend time in that weight room.
Sure.
Get where you need to be. I appreciate you taking time out of your evening to spend with us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, wish you nothing but the best of luck tomorrow night against Shamrocks.
Thank you.
We'll take another short break, and when we return, we'll go over a few of the highlights from the Caldwell Redskins football game. Braden Baker gets a tackle for a loss.
Great penetration from Braden, allowing him to get the tackle.
Owen Howard with a tackle in the backfield.
Owen does a great job of hitting the gap to get the tackle for a loss.
Drew Longfeld and Braden Baker combined for the stop at the line of scrimmage.
Great pursuit down the line to get the stop.
Owen Howard again with a stop in the backfield.
Owen comes on blitz to get the nice stop for a loss.
Once again, Owen gets another stop for a loss.
Owen, Stiver, and Jace combine for the stop for a loss.
Jet Kaiser with a long gain on the ground.
We get some nice blocking at the line of scrimmage, allowing for the big gain.
When we return, we will preview this week's opponent, the 4-0 Barnesville Shamrocks. Welcome back, everyone. Coach, tomorrow night they face the 4-0 Barnesville Shamrocks, and they've had a number. As a matter of fact, they've had everybody's number here in the valley for the last 3 or 4 years. Every year, giant kids on the line. And, this Caldwell kid, 5'9", 200 pounds, like a human bowling ball out there at times. And he gets a head start, usually 7 yards deep, and when he hits that line of scrimmage, he's full speed. So they got all kind of talent, Coach, we know that. So it'll be a difficult game for us tomorrow.
Yeah, it's, we've talked all week. It's going to have to be a perfect effort on our part. Perfect. I mean, we've talked a little bit in this show in the past on the little mistakes that we've made. Well, we can't have that ever, but especially with a team like Barnesville, we can't have any mistakes. We have to have some mistakes by Barnesville, honestly. Some balls bounce our way. But they are big, their line. I don't know where they're getting their kids from, but the thing is they just go for it. Like you said, Tolliver's a big kid as well, a bigger kid, muscular, big legs. And then they've got a fullback that looks like he's a bodybuilder. So, it's just straightforward running right at you. And they, like you said, they've won, I think, 40 games straight or something like that. That's pretty impressive. I mean, they definitely have things going over there, but they also have, I think, roughly around 60 kids. So, it's a lot of kids coming out for football there. But, on any Friday, things can happen, and if we get some breaks going our way and we get things rolling, we're going to try to have a little bit of ball control. Obviously, try to keep the ball away from them as much as possible. Deal with a lot of short passes. Try to get that running game going a little bit. Eat up some clock. So that's going to be our game plan coming in, and then honestly on defense, we're just going to try to really it's going to be attacking defense. Similar to the second half of the River game there, just trying to hit some gaps and make things happen and get some penetration and hopefully throw some of their run blocks off. But they're definitely a talented team from top to bottom. Their quarterback's a new kid, so he doesn't make as good a read as the Carpenter boy from the last 2 or 3 years here, but still pretty good, don't get me wrong. He throws a nice ball. There's not many weaknesses on their team, really. If I had to say any weaknesses, maybe some of their defensive back skill guys are a little less than they have been, but don't get me wrong, they're still pretty good. And, so it's going to take one heck of an effort from our boys, and we'll see what comes of it.
Yeah, I'd say the key will be trying to slow up that Tolliver kid. Like I said, he's got, kind of looks like Saquon Barkley, those big thighs for a high school kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then their quarterback, he's actually the brother of the Carpenter kid that graduated last year.
Yeah, I mean they're kind of good everywhere. Like you mentioned about Tolliver, like it's all downhill, and if you tackle the kid high at all, it's just gonna run right through arm tackles and run you over. So he's an impressive kid, and so far the 2 games I've watched, they jump out. I mean they just run the ball and they got 21 points in the blink of an eye before the other team even knows what hit them. So we're hoping we can at least slow up some offensive plays, and if we get them some 3rd and longs, things like that, that's what we're trying to push, because they don't pass the ball as well as they run the ball. I mean, running's their thing and their key to their game. So we'll see.
Yeah, they definitely have their things together.
They do.
Let's take a short break, and when we return, we'll wrap up this week's episode. Welcome back to the show, everyone. Before we wrap up this week's episode, we give some reminders. Tomorrow night is Hall of Fame night. Class of 2025, they'll be honored at halftime. There will be a banquet on Saturday if anyone's interested in going to the induction ceremony. Get hold of Coach Calder, Jason Pye, or Cole Harrelson. Tickets will be sold at the gate for $6. There will be 50-50 tickets at both gates. The sideliners will be selling sausage sandwiches across the street from the field house. Football moms will be selling programs, game ball, raffle tickets. They'll be selling some apparel as well. And don't forget about the field goal contest tickets. for $10. Tomorrow night's game ball sponsor is Jones Construction and Excavating. So thank you, Jordan and Sherry Jones. Some key dates this coming week. There'll be a JV game at home on Monday, the 22nd at 6 p.m. Our youth games will be this Saturday, the 20th, at Barnesville. 3rd and 4th grade will start at 5, and the 5th and 6th grade will start at 7.
Yeah, another game under lights for them.
Under lights, I'm telling you, Caris, getting all kind of experience, 5th and 6th grade. Got any final comments, Caris, before we wrap up this week's edition?
Yeah, just, hopefully these boys come out with a little bit of fire, and hopefully, like I said, we can work on the little things, and hopefully those big things happen in the game, and hopefully we get some ball bounced our way and things like that. But once again, I think the atmosphere is going to be great. So far, it's been great every game, really. So look forward to that. But it's coming into half point of the season where these kids got to start, stepping up. Some of these kids that haven't had the experience, or some of these new kids, it's time to kind of, hey, we've learned enough. We know enough now. Let's put all those things that we've learned to good use. So I'm hoping to see those little things work.
Yeah, and you mentioned some technique and things, and little things we got to work on. And, tomorrow night isn't the best night in all likelihood to probably work on those things, just because of how talented that Barnesville team is. But, you look on to the second half of the season too, Coach. I mean, there's a lot of winnable games out there yet. As a matter of fact, there's 5 of them in the second half of the season. So, work on the little things now, improve week in, week out, and see what week 10 brings,
That's right.
Who knows?
That's right.
All right, everyone, that's a wrap on this week's show. Please remember to join us next Thursday at 9 p.m. as well. We'll talk a little bit about the Barnesville game, and then we'll preview our upcoming opponent, the Magnolia Blue Eagles. Until then, see you next week.